Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while since I've been out to the cabin. It's just been so wet and I can't get any materials back there. But the last video you saw, I kind of did a year in review, kind of see what kind of progress I'd made. Go back and check that out. I'm pretty proud of that video, but suffice it to say I've made a lot more personal progress than than I have cabin progress. But that was really, the point of it all when I started. Today I want to do something a little bit different. So we've been showing quite a few tools that we've used at different points of the process, and I just kind of wanted to do a little review on those. Some of them have been really, really good. Some of them have been not so great. So that way, if maybe you're in the market for one of these, you can take my advice with a grain of salt, but I've done enough over different projects to know what for the most part works and what doesn't. In no particular order, I'm going to start with screws. Now, we haven't done a lot on the construction process, obviously, but what I've been using is Power Pro premium exterior wood screws, and these are the Torx bit. Really, there's, the brand, as far as I know, it's just what our local store carries. I've never had any issues with it. I'm certainly not going to endorse it anyway. But the two things that are important here is that they are exterior screws. That was a mistake I made quite a few times many, many years ago, using interior screws outdoors. And then the Torx bit. If I can absolutely avoid it at all, I only use Torx bits. I don't have a lot of experience with square head bits. I think those will probably be fine, but I almost completely shy away from Phillips heads. And as far as flathead screws go, I mean, it's 2025. Why are we still making flathead screws? I won't get on my soapbox on that. But yeah, the two most important things on this are the exterior and that it's the Torx head. Once you use a Torx head, I believe you'll never go back. Next up, the old Stanley Powerlock. This is a 25-foot tape measure. As far as tape measures go, you really can't go wrong with the brand Stanley, in my opinion. But the biggest thing is, if you are going to buy a tape measure and you're going to be using it really any amount, spend the extra money, get a nice one. Like I said, this one works really, really well. It's got a nice firm tape to it. I have another one that I like a little bit better, and I might show that another time. But anyway, it has more options to grip down here. It has some ears out on the side that you can grip, and just a little bit, a couple more functions. But something like this is worth the money. Don't go to the dollar store and get those that are so flimsy you can't hardly do anything with it, unless you're using it once every few years. The hatchet we've been using. I talked about this at one point. I believe the brand is Fiskars. I'm not familiar with this brand at all. I actually didn't buy this. I hired a guy to do some work a number of years ago, and he left it on the job site. Someday I'll catch up with him and give it to him back, or give it back to him. This has really not been a great tool out here. If I wanted to cut into a sapling that was maybe 2-3 inches in diameter, it does a pretty good job. It's got a nice heavy head, but it's got such a wide profile that it's really awful for splitting wood. I don't have a lot of experience splitting wood outside of when I was pretty young, but we used splitting mauls and wedges back then. So this has not been a great tool out here. It's handy to have every once in a while. It's just the right thing. It does have a hammer head on here, so you can use it as a hammer, but it's really kind of rounded, and it's really easy to bounce off the head of the nail. So when I go out and buy a little hatchet, I'm going to do something very different than this. I'm going to get actually like a woodsman hatchet, whereas this is more made for almost semi-construction with the hammerhead back here. It's been okay, but not great. I wouldn't go out and buy this for what I'm doing out here. Next up is a favorite of ours. This is a machete that we found in an antique store. Now, don't picture like a nice frilly antiques when I say antiques. It's more of a, here's a lot of old stuff. We found this, it was super cheap. As you can see, it's really coming apart. The old wood handle there is starting to split. But what we did, it was super got it, and we just dunked it in a vinegar bath for a few hours, and just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. It probably needs it again, and then really get a good edge on it. And then someday we're gonna find some nice wood, and maybe try our hand at putting on a new handle. But this has been pretty handy, especially when getting into brush and stuff like that. It's light, it cuts through stuff pretty well, especially when we were clearing the site. There was just so much little, you know, thicker than grass, but not really a sapling, kind of those sticker bushes and stuff like that. This worked really well for that. So I would recommend, if you're going to be out in the woods much, get yourself something like this. This is maybe a little bit long if you're, you know, more of a hiker or something like that. But something like this thing has worked really, really well. These are maybe the tools you've seen us use the most. So this is just a generic hammer. This is kind of I think it's just a cheapo depot here. Yeah, it's just a Pittsburgh. I don't know if we picked this up at Harbor Freight or wherever. We've had a couple different hammers out here. This is definitely a base model. Nothing special about it. But as far as doing the demolition on the shed, it did what we needed. Over the years, one of my favorite tools has become this flat bar, especially for demolition. You can hook this part in and hit the back of it with the hammerhead. You can put the long part in, and it does a really good job at popping nails out and things like that. There's probably better tools to use out there, more efficient, but this has become one of my favorites as far as taking stuff apart. You saw us using them a lot to denail all those boards. Works like a charm. You've seen us use this on a couple different methods. First, when we were trying to move the cabin, we jacked the cabin up to try and get all the chains hooked up, and that didn't work. And then we have used it to level the skids. I've had this for a very long time. It's a big red 6-ton jack, hydraulic jack. As far as, you know, jacks go, it's nothing special, but I've never been disappointed with it. I put it under anything heavy as I want, and it lifts it up. No issues whatsoever. It's the one that has the little release down there at the bottom, so to lower it, you loosen it, and it lets the pressure out. But this thing's been so handy over the years, from vehicles to whatever, to buildings, anything that I want to get lifted up. Works really, really well. Next up, we've used this level on trying to get everything set on the cabin, or at least on the skids. This is just a cheapo model too. As far as levels go, this is a 24-inch. It's the biggest I have. I have a few smaller ones. It works really, really well. On the cabin build, it would be nice to have like a 3 or 4 footer to really make sure things are level. But again, it's a cabin, it's not a home. And because it's mobile, you know, as far as things being level, they need to be, in my opinion, very close. But I would not be as particular on this cabin as I would be, you know, if I'm building my house or something like that. So as far as levels go, this is a cheapo depot. Works really, really well. Has multiple bubbles on it that you can do just about any basic carpentry, anything like that. Next up, we have the Bosch laser level. We didn't video a lot of using this because it works really, really well once the sun starts to go down, which is when we start to use light. But when we were setting the pads and setting the posts, this thing was awesome. It's really difficult to get things level, especially across 2 axes, if you know what I mean, back and forth and side to side. Just using the regular old 24-inch level. It's really difficult. It can be done, but it's difficult. But all we did was set this thing on one of the corners, and it shot a laser. It shoots a laser, I think 180 degrees, and is just impeccable. I mean, it's perfect because it's a laser. As long as whatever you've set it on is, of course, level, then it's going to shoot a nice laser level. But during direct sunshine, it has a span of about maybe 4 feet. So to get, you know, really all the way across our cabin footprint, we had to wait till the sun had gone down quite a bit, if not completely down. Then it works really well, but then you're working in the dark. Okay, I'm going to save the best for last, at least the best in my opinion. We haven't used this a ton so far, but this is hands down one of my favorite tools, period. And that is this little Dewalt impact driver. It's lightweight and it's very powerful. The batteries have lasted me quite a few years by now. You know, just keeping them charged normally, but specifically the impact. I have a number of drills tools that I really like. But the impact itself, especially when you're, dealing with kind of roughing in stuff, using those Torx head screws, it has all the power necessary. I've never been disappointed with it. I've used and abused it. It's stood the test of time. So if you're looking for an impact driver, and I know everybody has their opinions on, Dewalt, Milwaukee, and Ryobi, and all those. My opinion is, bang for the buck. This does the job each and every time. Never been disappointed with it. I actually have a couple of these that I kind of swap back and forth. The other one's just a hair. The battery's smaller, and the body of it's just a little bit smaller. But even that's had as much power as I've ever needed. All right, last up is Old Faithful. The old chainsaw. As you can see, this thing is well loved and well in need of a cleaning. Over the years, I have not done a very good job of maintaining it. I mean, you want to talk about using and abusing a tool. That thing, it's been left out in the rain, it's been dropped off of trucks, it's been just all kinds of stuff. I just fired it up about an hour ago, and it just never fails. It fires up every time. I've never had any issues where I've had to go in and clean anything out, fuel lines, anything like that. Now, if I were a person that was like processing a lot of firewood, this little chainsaw would not be my choice. So again, this is the MS-180C. MS-180C. I had to clear all that gunk off so I could see what it was. This mostly for me has been a brush clearer. It's small as far as chainsaws go, which is perfect when you're out just messing with brush. Very easy to just, maneuver with one hand if you need to. I know that's not recommended, not very safe, but it's just been a dream tool for me. I bought it all used off a guy probably a good 15 years ago. I'll be honest with you, over the winter when it sits for a few months, I never empty the fuel, I never empty the oil. I go to use it, I top the fuel and oil off, the bar oil, and it fires up and I use it, and on we go. One thing I need to do better that I've talked a little bit about is keeping my chain sharp. I'm just notorious for not doing that, and it's something I want to get better at. So putting stuff on YouTube is going to help me be a little bit more accountable there. Those are most of the tools that we've used on the channel so far. Most of them have treated me really well. A few, if I was going to go out and buy something, I'd probably go a different direction. But these, again, kind of like the materials for the building, these are just things I've collected over the years. As a young guy, I didn't have a lot of tools starting out, so basically along the way, any projects that I could kind of justify, oh well, for this project I'm going to need this tool, I try and go out and buy quality and maintain it over time, especially on the higher end stuff. So that's kind of my 2 cents. There's really only a few things I'm passionate about. Torx head drivers on screws, this little Stihl chainsaw that has just been a steady companion, and the impact driver, the Dewalt impact driver. I've used those 3 things on so many different projects, and every single time it delivers. Some of the other stuff, I did go cheap on the hammer, the level, stuff like that. It's hard to mess up a level because it's physics. So I kind of went cheap on that one. But then I also have the laser level. I invested some money in that one. It was more than just a cheap aluminum level. So my 2 cents, do with that what you would like. But yeah, I just thought maybe I'd share some of my experience with these tools with you guys and see what you think. As always, I hope this blesses you. We'll see you next time.